Hi everyone, it's Lynn here. My name's Lynn Meadowcroft, and I'm really excited to be with you all today. Um, just a little bit about me, first of all, before I start. I'm a licensed Heal Your Life teacher. So I'm a licensed teacher, which means that I'm approved by Hay House and endorsed by Louise Hay. I've done the official Heal Your Life training, and I'm so honoured to be a teacher of Louise Hay's work. I also primarily work with women who I support in showing up, speaking up, and just finding their own voice, helping them to be seen, heard, and valued in all areas of their life. I empower women to do that and to believe in themselves. So that's a little bit about me. How did I get into all of this? Well, about 12 years ago now, possibly a bit longer, one of my sisters gave me this book by Louise Hay called The Power is Within You. And at the time when my sister gave me this book, I was this far from having a nervous breakdown. So she gave me this book, and when I read it, I couldn't stop crying because it really resonated with me deep inside. And I was just so relieved that there was something that I could do myself to change what was happening for me at that time. I could change the way that I was looking at that situation and various different situations that were going on for me back then. So I read that book and I started to apply Louise's philosophies, and I made such massive changes, and I didn't recognize myself. I didn't recognize who I was becoming. I completely changed. And if you've not heard of Louise Hay before, she's considered to be the pioneer of the self-help movement, the personal development movement. And she was an American lady. She passed away 3 years ago this year when she was aged 90. And her philosophy, in a nutshell, is that it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. So that's it. That's basically her philosophy in a nutshell. Louise is probably most famous for this book here, You Can Heal Your Life. This is my Bible. This is my go-to book. This is all Louise's books are amazing, but this book now, this is an old copy, and this book now has sold 50 million copies worldwide, and it's been translated into about 30 something different languages. So the way that you're meant to read this book is you start at the beginning, you read all the way through it, then you go back to chapter 1 and you do the exercises at the end of that chapter. Each chapter has its own exercises for you to complete. Some of them will trigger you more than others, but stick with it and you will achieve amazing results. And what I love about this book is at the back of this book, this is Louise's list. And Louise's first book that she wrote was called You Can Heal Your Body, and it was known as the Little Blue Book, and she self-published that book to begin with, and she had 5,000 copies printed. And what Louise did when she was a practitioner, she was with the Science of Mind, the Religious Science of Mind organization. When she was seeing people, she talked to them. She was doing a consultation, and so she found out what the problem was and what the probable cause of that problem was, and then she gave them a new thought pattern to work on. So those were new affirmations. And every time that if there's something wrong with me, physically or mentally or emotionally, I'll have a look at that list, And I use that book for myself. I use it for my clients because I do one-to-one coaching as well. I do workshops. I work in corporate organizations, offering training to staff. And every time I use that list, it's always right. I have never, ever known it not to be spot on. So that's why it's my go-to list. So yeah, so those are a couple of Louise's books, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the power of your words. So I'm going to come on to that in a second. What I'd like to do before we start is I would like to read you one of Louise's meditations. This is from another book of Louise's called Inner Wisdom, which is a gorgeous little book. So what I'd invite you to do now is, if you can, close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's absolutely fine. But just breathe in these words as I'm saying them. So this one is, this year, I do the mental work for positive change. I know that until I make inner changes and I'm willing to do some mental work, nothing out there is going to change. The only thing I need to change is a thought. Just a thought. So this year, I think of all the positive things I can do for myself. I think only positive thoughts. I affirm what I want each day as soon as I wake up. I say out to any unwanted negative thinking. I am grateful for all the good in my life. In this way, I do mental work that affects positive change. And you can gently open your eyes if you've had them closed. Okay, so the power of your words. I have a few questions to ask you to start off with. So, first question I've got for you is this one. How often do you check the words that you're saying? How often do you check the words that you're saying? How often do you check your thoughts that you're thinking? How often do you check the thoughts you're thinking? How do you start your day? What's your first thought when you first open your eyes and you wake up? What's your first thought? What's your second thought? And what's your third thought? Because depending on what those thoughts are, that will depend on the day that you have. So, are you thinking positive power thoughts, or are you thinking poverty thoughts? Just think about that for a minute. How often do you check the words that you're saying, that you're using, and how often do you check your thoughts? And what are the first thoughts you have when you first wake up in the morning? Most of us are so busy. We don't bother thinking about what we're saying. We don't bother thinking about what we're thinking. They say that we have about 75,000 thoughts a day. And that most of those thoughts are the same thoughts that we had the day before and the day before and the day before. And the majority of them are negative. So my invitation is to start noticing. Start noticing the words that you're speaking. Start noticing what you're saying. What words are you using? and start noticing what your thoughts are. What are you thinking about? So just start noticing. Did you know that you had the power to change your life? Did you know that you had the power to change your life? That is massive. It's incredible that you and only you have the power to change your life if you want to. You're the only person that thinks in your mind. So what is your self-talk? What's going on in this mind of yours right now? What is your self-talk? Because that little voice is always constantly talking to us. We're constantly having thoughts. We're constantly thinking about things. We might not be aware that we are, but we are. As soon as we get up, it starts. So what's your self-talk? Do you spend all day telling your bad luck stories? Do you spend all day gossiping? We are very, very quick to spread bad news, and we can't wait to tell everybody. We honestly, we just spread it like wildfire, and we say it over and over and over again to as many people that had listened to us. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel when you're constantly gossiping or complaining or mourning? What words do you use to describe yourself? How do you describe yourself? How do you describe your relationships? What words do you use about your relationships? What about your family? What words do you use to describe your family? Are they all pains in the backsides? Do none of them understand you? Is it always you that has to do everything? That used to be me. Those were the kinds of words that I used to use to describe myself. What about work? How do you describe your job? How do you describe your co-workers, your colleagues? What kinds of words are you using? Are you complaining about them all the time? Is it always you that has to finish that piece of work that has to be in by Monday morning? Is it always you that has to work through your break? That's another one of mine. Those were the kinds of words I used to describe my previous job. Kind of words do you use? Are you constantly criticizing yourself and others? How does it make you feel when you do that? What does it feel like when you criticize yourself? What does it feel like when you're criticizing other people? Do you constantly put yourself down or joke about yourself? Even when you're joking about yourself, even when you're putting yourself down in a joking way, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. All it hears is you putting yourself down. Why? Why? Why would you want to put yourself down? Do you say unkind things about yourself and others? How does that make you feel? Does it feel like when you're unkind to somebody? What does it feel like when you're unkind about other people? It's not a great way to live your life. You're not living the life that you were born to live. It doesn't make you feel good when you're unkind to yourself and others. It doesn't make you feel good when you're always moaning and complaining. You have a choice. You have a choice. The choice is this, it's very simple. You can carry on doing that. You can carry on criticizing yourself and other people. You can carry on being unkind to yourself and other people. You can carry on complaining and gossiping and mourning. You can carry on doing all that and you'll feel exactly the same way that you've always felt. And you will not feel good about yourself. I know, because I was one of those people. So what can you do? You can make some changes. Yay! So, are you willing to change your self-talk to create new experiences? Because everything you think is an affirmation. Every word you speak is an affirmation. And all of those words carry a vibration. We are all energy. Everything around us is energy. So we are giving off a vibration. So have you ever come across people and said, oh God, I got really bad vibes off them? That's because you can pick up on their energy. Have you ever been around people where they've made you feel uplifted and happy and joyful? That's because you're picking up on their energy, their vibration. So when you're constantly criticizing yourself and others and being unkind and complaining and gossiping, your energy is really low. The vibration you're giving off is really low. It's all negative. So what will happen is we have universal laws. And one of the universal laws is something called the law of attraction that you may or may not have heard about. Basically, the law of attraction is that whatever you're giving out, you get back. So the law of attraction gives you back exactly what it is you're giving out. So if you're giving out low vibrational energy, you'll get low vibrational energy experiences brought back to you. It's that simple. So let's have a look. So my last question to you was, are you willing to change your self-talk to create new experiences? Ask yourself, what do I really want in my life right now? What do I really want in my life right now? Just pause for a moment and just see what pings to mind. I'll just be quiet for a moment. Close your eyes and ask, what do I really want in my life right now? Okay, have you got something? So now say, I accept for myself, and then whatever it was that came to mind. I accept for myself whatever it was. Whatever you said you wanted, I accept for myself whatever it was. So do you believe that you deserve to have it? Whatever it is you said you wanted, do you believe that you deserve to have it? So what thoughts would you have to change to deserve it? What thoughts would you have to change to deserve it? So those could be things that could be popping up for you right now, are things such as, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, I'm not worthy, who do I think I am? All of those kinds of thoughts. Those are what you need to change. So what would be the first thought that you would need to believe to accept your desire? What would the first thought you would need to believe to accept your desire? So again, these thoughts could be that you need to believe, I deserve. I deserve all good. You might have to change your thoughts to, I love myself. I am worthy. So just affirm, I am deserving of all good. I am deserving of all good. So you're not saying some good or a little bit of good, all good. Never, ever, ever limit yourself. You've been limiting yourself for far too long with your beliefs. A lot of beliefs that you have are limiting beliefs. So, I am deserving of all good. Another affirmation you can say is, I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. We're not taught to love ourselves at school. That's not on the curriculum. I didn't know you had to love yourself until I started doing this work. I thought it was everybody else's job to love me. I didn't know that I had to do it for myself. So if that's too big of an ask, if you think, no way, I can't love who I am, because a lot of people don't like themselves very much. So if you're one of those people, then just change that affirmation to, I am willing to love and approve of myself. So just be willing. I am willing to love and approve of myself. Just notice how that feels. You'll not believe these affirmations at first, because if you did, you wouldn't have to say them. And all I'm talking about here is saying these particular affirmations, these are positive statements. So if you've been somebody who can constantly use negative words and negative thinking, then it's changing all of that to positive statements. So changing your negative affirmations to positive affirmations, and just notice the massive changes that you'll just notice huge changes. Practice. So affirmations are like planting a little seed. So if you went out into your garden, or you put a little seed in a plant pot and you just put a bit of water on, then you would not expect the next morning to have an apple tree or an oak tree or whatever. You just wouldn't. And affirmations are exactly the same. You can't say an affirmation such as, I deserve all good, and then bang, all good comes to you instantly. If it does, let me know. And you can't say an affirmation like, I love and approve of myself, if you've always hated yourself, or you've not been very kind to yourself because you don't like bits of yourself or parts of yourself. So it's like that little seed has to germinate. It has to grow roots. And then a little shoots start coming up through the soil, and we water it and we nurture it and we love it. And over time, it starts growing and growing and growing. It's exactly the same with this. Exactly the same with this. Your affirmations are like little seeds. So be patient, like you would if you planted a seed. Be patient. Be persistent. with your affirmations. Be consistent and practice them. Maybe just choose one or two that you can work on, but keep practicing them. Say them over and over and over again. When I do workshops, I ask people to stand up and say their affirmation. So they might say something like this. So they've written their affirmation and then they stand up and they might say, I deserve all good. And then my question to them is, how does that make you feel when you say that? Do you believe it? No, they don't. So put some feeling into it. Right, let's do it again. So I ask them to do it again. Put some feeling into it. Pretend you're an actress or an actor. Right, okay. I deserve all good. How do you feel now? Yeah, a bit better. So they practice it and practice it and practice it. You can sing your affirmations. I used to sing my affirmations. When I'm driving my car, one of the things that I had to work on was not being good enough. That was a massive change for me, because I always believed that I wasn't good enough. So my affirmation then became, I am good enough. So I used to say it all of the time. I am good enough. I am enough. I am good enough. I am good enough. And I used to have it in my car and I used to sing, I am good enough. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. So sing your affirmations. Write them down on little post-its and put them everywhere. Put them on your bedroom mirror. Put them on your car, what's it called, dashboard. Put them everywhere. Put them on your fridge as a constant reminder to say your affirmations. Say them with feeling. Sing them. So if you do that, if you change the words that you're using, if you're more mindful of the words that you're speaking and stop yourself, as soon as you start saying anything negatively or criticizing anybody or criticizing yourself or stop and just, right, okay, I've caught myself doing that, but it's okay. I'm just catching myself doing it, and I no longer choose to use those kinds of words. I now choose to love and approve of myself. I now choose to be kind to others and myself. So bring it back to that. So I'm going to just read another meditation out for you. Again, it's from the same book as I read the earlier one out. So this one's called It's Only a Thought, and a thought can be changed. How many times have I refused to think a positive thought about someone else? Well, I can refuse to think negative thoughts about myself too. People say, I can't stop thinking a thought. Well, yes, I can. I have to make up my mind that that's what I'm going to do. I don't have to fight my thoughts when I want to change things. When that negative voice comes up, I can say, thank you for sharing. I am not giving power over to the negative thought, and yet I am not denying that it is there. I am saying, okay, it's there. Thank you for sharing. And I'm choosing to do something else. I don't want to buy into that anymore. I want to create another way of thinking. I don't fight my thoughts. I acknowledge them and I go beyond them. So there you go. I hope that you found that useful. If you want to know more about what I do, then please go to my website, which is www.lynmeadowcroft.com. I do a monthly newsletter. I just started doing monthly newsletters last month. So if you want to subscribe to my newsletter, there's a little box on the website that you can click and leave your email address, and you will then receive my monthly newsletter. I do not bombard you every day with emails, so you'll get my monthly newsletter. I'm currently running a Heal Your Life 5-week online course. They've just completed 1 week, and the first module was deservability. And let me tell you that the ladies who are doing it, wow, they've made massive, massive shifts. Massive shifts. It's been very powerful. The module this week that they're working on is love. So again, there'll be massive shifts. If you want to know more about that, then please drop me an email. My contact details are on my website. So drop me an email, because I'll be running another 5-week online Heal Your Life course. Probably, I think the date's around the end of June, beginning of July-ish, and it's 5 weeks. It's an online course. So you do the course on your own, but you get support from me. So we do a weekly Zoom call with the group of people who are doing the course. And I also do a one-to-one Zoom call with you too. And we also have a little WhatsApp group for support. So it's up to you. It really is up to you. I know that when I was that far from my nervous breakdown, I didn't want to carry on living my life the way I'd been living it. I knew that I had to make some changes. And when my sister gave me that book, that was the catalyst of change for me. And I've never, ever, ever looked back. Never, never, ever. So it can be the same for you too. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. Whatever you're doing, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm sending you all so much love from my heart to yours. Take care, everybody. Bye.